Hi, welcome to GLP-1 Chronicles. I'm Diane. I'm in my late 50s and postmenopausal. I've been on a GLP-1 medication since November of 2022 and I've lost 110 pounds. With this channel, I hope to share my experiences, the ups, the downs, and just living life with this medication. Before we get too deep into it, I just want to do the standard disclaimer. I am not a medical professional. Therefore, all statements that I make just reflect my personal opinions and experiences and should not be considered medical advice. Of course, you should always consult with your doctor for your own medical and dietary needs. So I've been overweight my entire life, and I've tried every diet you could think of: Weight Watchers, Atkins, keto, 21-day fix, everything. I'd lose some weight, then I would gain it all back, rinse and repeat. I think a lot of people have that same experience. The lowest point was in 2019. My mother had passed away from cancer. I became depressed and I used food like I always did to comfort myself. And I started putting on weight pretty rapidly. And I got to my highest weight. And it also didn't help that 6 months later, the pandemic hit and I was working from home for over 18 months. In August of 2022, I had a medical issue that landed me in the ER. Thankfully, it was something minor, but it led to a cascade of doctor's appointments, including seeing a cardiologist, who was pretty frank with me and told me that I really needed to consider weight loss surgery. Now, that wasn't the first time I had heard that, or it wasn't the first time I had thought of it myself, but it scared me. The thought of having surgery just terrified me, not to mention the recovery. But I did my due diligence. I started researching local doctors. There's one doctor who actually does a monthly program where you can go and meet him, meet his staff. They go over the procedure, but for some reason I could never register for that. My finger would hover over the computer keys and I just couldn't pull the trigger. I met with an endocrinologist because I was having thyroid issues and I was diagnosed with diabetes. The nurse practitioner told me about this medication called Mounjaro, which would help with the diabetes, and she said as a side effect, I would also probably lose some weight. And I remember thinking to myself, where has this medication been my entire life? So she showed me how to administer it and gave me my first month's supply. I went home that day, November 28th, 2022, and took my first shot. The medication started working pretty quickly. The food noise was gone. I wasn't hungry. In fact, I had to force myself to eat. In April 2023, the doctor decided that he wanted to increase my dosage to 7.5 milligrams. Unfortunately, my insurance company wasn't covering Mounjaro at that point, so I had to switch to something else, such as Ozempic or Victoza. We decided on Ozempic. The side effects that I had on Ozempic were different from the side effects I had on Mounjaro. I do plan on doing a separate video where I discuss that since I've been on both medications. I was on Ozempic for about 4 months and I was scheduled to go back to the endocrinologist. On a whim, I decided to check my insurance, and lo and behold, they were now covering Mounjaro. So when the endocrinologist walked into the room, I begged him, can I please go back on Mounjaro? I'm so miserable on Ozempic. And he's like, of course. So I've been on Mounjaro ever since. I'm currently on a 10 milligram dose, but I'm considering moving up to 12.5. My weight loss has stalled, and some of the food noise is starting to come back. So I'm planning on talking with my endocrinologist within the next few weeks to see if we can go ahead and make that change. So after being on a GLP-1 medication for over 2 years, what do I think? I'm so thankful for them. They've really changed my life. They've improved my health considerably. My blood work is excellent. My doctors are thrilled with my progress, but I still have work to do. And I hope to share that with you on this channel. I hope to go more in depth with my experiences and to share what I've been through in the hopes of helping others who are either considering this medication or who are currently just starting to take it. I hope to share more of my experiences in the day-to-day life of living with a GLP medication, things like what I eat in a day, side effects, grocery hauls, and maybe a few recipes. I'll be honest, I'm not much of a cook. I don't enjoy cooking, but I'll try to share some of the meals that I've put together that have helped me lose over 110 pounds. As a new YouTube creator, I hope that you will consider subscribing if you found this video interesting or informative. I want to create an inclusive community of people who are working to improve their lives and help get rid of some of the stigma involved with taking these medications. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.